Hello. So this is the second part of the three videos on Theosophical Oratory belonging to the leadership project of the World Federation of Young Theosophists. In this occasion, we are going to talk about the planning of speech, or what I call groundwork for planning, which has a lot to do with remembering the divine in us. So by now, we should be capable of stand vibrant and flexible with feet grounded and unbalanced, as we learned in the first part of the series, to manage the breath, to modify the will, to calm ourselves, and also to connect with the auditorium or the public, and to control and use your voice. Now it's the moment to plan and prepare. How to plan and prepare the speech? Well, it's important to remember that much of the essential material for our lecture already resides deep within us. But how to unfold all this potential? We can make it by applying the sovereign method of the occult schools: concentration, contemplation, and meditation. How to collect the material? Which are the sources, the inspirations, the steps to follow? Here I have some suggestions that I have gathered from different books that talk not only about public speech, but also about public speech in a specific context of theosophical creed. So first thing, when we are given a subject for lecturing, or when we choose a subject or a topic, is to define and extract from our own available resources or idea as much as we can, to sort all of them and classify them in our mind, and of course, to take notes. This means that we are not going to go immediately to research information from books or internet sources, etc. But the first thing to do is to make an introspection and go deep into our own being, our own previous knowledge, our own reflection, the products of our meditation and experiences, and try to search all the ideas that are within us related to the topic that we are going to present, and register them on a notebook. Only after we have done this inner search, after we have consulted the inner book, then we should start reading about the subject of our conference. And then, when we have a rounded idea of our proposal, we can read about that in any kind of book that energizes and fertilizes. This is also a very important thing, to know how to choose the fonts in which we are going to research. And after we have pondered our inner ideas with those that we have researched, etc., we come to a part of the production of ideas, which is the fundamental process of theosophy. Then how to produce new ideas? We can ask questions about what we have found, ask our divine being for knowledge, which means we are again trying to remember each time more. So on the first step, we remember without any external reading. Now we are taking all these and comparing it with what we have read, and that will trigger even more our internal wisdom or knowledge on the subject. And this is something very important, that we keep always asking questions, because that helps us opening our minds. Whereas dogmatizing closes our mind. So it's always important to have this open mind and eagerness to go deeper and deeper in the subject, and even be ready to question our own ideas on the matter as we get new incomes. Also, whenever we read, even for recreation purposes, it is advisable to keep noting down any information of interest that can be related to our subject or that can be of some value for a future or topic. And also be topical, which means connect the basic idea of what we are intending to present with what is going on in the world. It's of the time. This will come in use very much later, and we will discuss it more in the third part of this series regarding how to connect with the audience. And it is important that we also connect, trying to connect what we are discussing to the daily lives, to the society that we are living, etc., etc. And something important, once we take upon us the task of being theosophical presenters or speakers, and even as theosophists, we understand that everything, every person, every situation can be a teacher. So it is fundamental to observe and be aware and keep collecting impressions and ideas as we go along that can not only nourish ourselves as human beings for our personal self-transformation, but also that can be of some help at the time of presenting a topic to the public. And all this sets in motion the process of remembering the divine in us. When we penetrate the field of Buddhi by this practice of remembering, of concentration, contemplation, and meditation, we will be able to access things directly. Of course, this requires daily practice from our side. And for the time being, we have to submit to the process of time. But the constant practice, not only aiming to prepare a lecture, but also for our daily life and self-improvement, this process will take us slowly to connect much more with our higher nature, therefore with our Buddhic nature or intuition. Then every time that we have a subject to present or a subject of study, it is important to ponder well on it, jotting down random thoughts as they occur. It can be useful to carry a pad to keep noting down the ideas and thoughts that come to mind. Write down the key concepts, thus bringing an abstract idea down to a more concrete level. The fact of writing down helps us concretizing and making it visible in order to understand it better and be able to convey it better. And these are the seeds. We will come to the seed concept later. The seed ideas for future presentation as well. Let's not forget to take the topic to pieces, examine it well, and then put it back together again. It's like a puzzle that you keep making and making. And here we come also to the importance of the language, not only how we express ourselves, but also the need of knowledge of the words and the terms that we are using for our talks. We need as theosophical speakers or as speakers of any other field, because of course, this course is focusing on theosophical oratory, but many of the tips that are being given here can be applied to any kind of public speaking. So whether you decide to go on the realm of theosophy, or you want to make a presentation for your job or in your field of expertise, these are kind of tips that you can use and adapt as per the need. So one thing that is very important for a person that is in the realm of public speaking is the expansion of the vocabulary. And in the realm of the occult, the idea of a word can be reconstructed from its verbal progeny, which means take the word apart, put it together again, know all its relatives and opposites in order to reach a new kind of theosophy. For that, it can be very useful to have a good book of synonyms, etymologies, and the Theosophical Glossary. But of course, nowadays we have a lot of resources of that kind available on the internet. And also regarding the way we pronounce words, they must be pronounced with respect and affection so that they give their innate beauty. Words are what show the idea. They are sacred leftovers of the Logos on earth, the great Word. Which topics should always be present at the theosophical speech? It is suggested that every theosophical presentation should have certain topics in a way or the other. Since all the problems of life and theosophy revolve around these 8 themes, and each of them contains them all. No matter what is the subject that we are trying to consider, at some point it can be of use to make some reference to fraternity, evolution, reincarnation, the nature of the human being, dharma, karma, the masters, the cycles. And by this, I don't mean to explicitly explain them during the talk, but how our topic can be related to this, how our topic is connected to these 8 fundamental subjects of theosophy. The task of the lecture is therefore to learn the right side up and upside down from every point of view, philosophical, occult, scientific, etc. And there are some stimulus, sources of inspiration. We were discussing about seeds. What else can be seeds? Which means the places or the words or the ideas that can give origin to another topic, to another speech, etc. I'm only going to mention some of them that came to my mind, but I'm sure each of you has another set of seeds. But the fruits of discussions or conversations, casual thoughts, those words, failures, all those things that can move us. Everything that is derived from reading a book, because it's a good book, and even from movie or any other kind of element that triggers in us the will, the need, or the desire to go deeper or to share with others. A book or anything that has been newly learned is a stimulus because it allows us to access 4 kinds of material. First, our conscious memory. Second, our unconscious memory. Third, our past life memory. And fourth, the cosmic wisdom or intuitive power to penetrate beyond facts and mental images. But these last 2 will only happen with time, with this practice of connecting, reflecting upon through concentration, contemplation, and meditation. Slowly, these memories will keep coming to us. And I'm not meaning by this that we are going to become people that will be able to remember their past lives or anything of that kind. What I mean with this is that we will reach a point that we will be able to connect with the wisdom, with the higher self. And as intuitions, glimpses, visions, or ideas, apparently random ideas, this kind of wisdom will come to us if we really are sincere and concentrate upon all the material or all the ideas that we are examining. Finally, true theosophy is to know oneself. So through this process of mind, trying to connect with our inner book and remember our innate wisdom, we are connecting with ourselves and knowing ourselves. And we are using the self as a means of knowledge, wisdom. So the work that a theosophical speaker does is to remember what they have within. And as soon as the conscious memory is a willing servant, our conscious memory enters the field of the unconscious. And the cosmic wisdom comes to us as a source of power, of wisdom, helping us to find what we need. In this sense, speaking, a real speaker or a real speech is the peculiar glory of the higher nature of Buddhi, because we are connected with that wisdom. If we speak from the position of the ego, of the lower self, of wanting admiration or fame or thinking that we are the owners of the truth, we are only focusing on the lower human being and who could only utter foolish sounds. So that's why, as speakers in general, but especially as theosophical speakers, we should aim to connect with that higher nature in us. There is something called the occult mnemotechnical method, which is exercising the memory in what we find valuable, writing it down, visualizing it, repeating it, reading it. For instance, instead of using our effort to memorize foolish things, we could use it exercising our higher qualities by learning the Eightfold Path, yamas, niyamas, paramitas, Four Noble Truths, etc., etc., etc. And we will find that occultism is contained in such mnemotechnic forms, and each one is a kind of magnet around which the ideas related to them are arranged. So once we know this, we will find ourselves in a position that when we begin to think about the subject and reflect upon it and meditate upon, a lot of ideas will come to our mind, will come to us. And this comes from that connection that we have established with our inner being. Okay, so now to close this second part of the series, I just want to share with all of you this quote from a very remarkable theosophist from Colombia, Mr. Gabriel Burgos Suarez. Theosophy is not about portraying truth, but about leading to it. So we are not in the position of giving a truth to anyone. We are just there speaking in front of an audience in order to share some of our insights that may be hints for them also to go to the same path. The merit of any presentation of theosophy must live within the experience to which it can lead the one who studies, if that person is strong and resolute enough to pass over its form of or expression and go to its hidden or recondite reality. Which means, let's take this practice, this opportunity to give a lecture or present a subject as a way of self-knowledge and to go in depth within ourselves. Thank you.